Hey, good morning. Happy Friday. Thanks for streaming with us on the Kare 11 app or wherever you watch. I'm Meteorologist Courtney Aitken. So currently about 9:30, and it's been an interesting start to our Friday. We had anticipated showers and storms to roll in a little bit closer to the lunch hour, but as you can see, the radar has lit up as of late morning. Rain finally starting to move into the Twin Cities. Now, we all know that we need the rain, but unfortunately, this is not going to be as widespread, heavy, or long-lasting as I know many of you would like it to be. So we'll take the rain that we're getting, that is for sure, but it is a little bit on the lighter side, that's somewhat of a good thing because at least we're getting the rain without a severe component. However, it is still possible that a couple storms as we make our way through the rest of the afternoon could become strong or severe. As a matter of fact, we've seen about 3 or 4 severe thunderstorm warnings already today. All of those happened pretty early in the morning. I'd say between 4:30 and 7 o'clock. And right now, nothing on the radar is severe, but we do have that level 1 or what we call a marginal threat for severe weather for the rest of today. This goes through all of Iowa to our south. It takes up most of Minnesota as well as most of Wisconsin, including, of course, our core viewing area. So places like the Twin Cities, St. Cloud, Brainerd, and next door in Menominee, Hayward. You also have that chance for strong to severe storms today, but we should be done by nightfall, which is great timing since there is a lot going on here in the metro tonight. We've got the Savannah Bananas at Target Field, among many other things that are outdoor and going to be weather dependent. So if we can just get all of the rain out of the way within the next handful of hours, we're good to go. And I think that's exactly what will happen. Today, highs are forecast around 80 in the Twin Cities and 70s for many of you. Mid-70s in Duluth, 78 in Brainerd, mid-70s in Grand Rapids, 74 in Bemidji. Clearing skies there after they had kind of a noisy start to their Friday morning. Storms developing very, very early around 4 a.m. out there. And so those dropped some heavy rain and made kind of a ruckus as they moved through those areas earlier this morning. Here is the 7-day forecast. We'll glaze over this just in case you need to head out the door. You'll get your quick forecast here, and then we'll get a little bit more in depth on what we saw earlier today and what we could see in the next few days. Now you'll notice there's a chance for isolated storms today. We are currently getting some light rain moving through the metro as of about 9:30. There's a chance that some pockets of rain could be heavier. There are some lightning bolts out there, and we could get some isolated storms into later this afternoon. Tomorrow, a beautiful day, low humidity, low 60s to start the day, mid 80s into the afternoon, plenty of sunshine. Sunday morning, a chance for showers early. It doesn't look all too impressive. In fact, the most impressive rain chance that we have at this time is going to be Sunday into Monday. The models are still a little bit unsure of the timing there, which makes sense because we're still a few days out. And a lot of that system, Sunday into Monday, is going to depend on what happens for the rest of today and even over the weekend. So we'll, of course, need a little bit more time to fine-tune Monday's forecast, but I would expect to see rain at some point on Monday, most likely morning or early afternoon. So I know it's Friday and you don't want to think about your Monday morning commute at this point, but it is something to keep on in the back of your mind at this point, that you could be looking at some rain for your Monday morning. Let's go ahead and get over to the radar. I will wind it back a handful of hours here and just talk a little bit about what we've seen so far today. This is the radar loop over the past couple of hours, so we can zoom around here and just talk a little bit about what we're seeing, and then we'll go back in time and talk about what happened earlier in the morning. At this hour, Duluth is starting to pick up some light rain. We're also seeing a stronger cell there. This is going to be to the west of Rice River. Nordland, you're getting that. Shamrock, this is one of a few rounds of rain that you've seen so far today. There doesn't look to be a lot of hail within that little cluster of storms, but if you squint, and it kind of doesn't help that it's right over the lake here, you can see that blob of gray indicating that there's maybe a little bit of small hail with that storm. And if we wind it back, you can see this is the trail of hail that this storm left. So right near Brainerd, this storm started spitting out maybe some smaller hail. You can see the shades of light gray there. Near Garrison, the storm strengthened a little bit, and then as it's moving over the lake right now, getting a little bit weaker, but still a relatively punchy storm there. Zooming out, we've got some rain near Little Falls, rain near the Brainerd Lakes area right now. We're also watching this cluster of storms out to our west and southwest too. Redwood Falls, you've seen some action this morning. Wilmer, you can see another little mini broken line of storms headed your direction. It looks like the strongest part of that storm is located near Colfax right now, just to the west of New London. And I think that there's likely some hail in that one. Yeah, you can see a little bit of hail there, smaller hail just to the west of Colfax and Lake Andrew. So this has been kind of the name of the game with storms that we've seen so far today. They produce heavy rain, they've got a lot of lightning, and they have some small hail along with gusty winds, and that's what you're seeing down toward Redwood Falls as well. Again, this is about 9:40 in the morning. Lightning, some pockets of heavy rain, and likely some small hail in here too. Just a teeny tiny bit. You have to squint to see it there near Flora. That's a little bit of a hail core, but nothing is severe, and I think that's important to point out. No warnings at this time. It's possible that we could see one or two more warnings this afternoon, but right now everything is below severe limits, and here in the Twin Cities, it's just some light rain that we're seeing. There you go. There's a high-res radar. That rain moved in here within the past hour, so just kind of making the roads a little bit wet for later morning commuters. And we have some pockets of heavier rain down to the south of Chaska near Washington Lake, and especially out towards Hutchinson. That's a pocket of heavier rain there south of Cokato near Winstead, Litchfield, heavier rain in your area too. So it is kind of patchy, kind of hit or miss this afternoon. At least the metro is getting something, but I know that most folks would probably prefer to see a little bit more rainfall. There are additional rain chances in the forecast, so we'll go over those. But first, we do have that level 1 or marginal risk of severe weather this afternoon. We also have a level 1 marginal risk of excessive rainfall. So that just basically tells us that anywhere it does rain today, we definitely could get some heavier pockets, which we certainly have seen so far. And there could be some ponding on the roadways, things like that. But I haven't seen any reports of flooding in the metro. In fact, we'll go back to the radar really quickly and take a look at some storm reports from earlier in the morning. That radar will take just a second to load here. Overall, I think that the rest of the day will be relatively tame, just with some beneficial rain, maybe the occasional rumble of thunder. Okay, so here are our storm reports from earlier today. Look at all those hail reports up near Bemidji. This was the first cell that we saw earlier this morning. It really strengthened quite quickly. They put a severe thunderstorm warning on it. You can see that most of the hail reports are south of Bemidji, and so I think that technically Bemidji was never really in the warning. It was areas just to the immediate south where we saw a lot of hail earlier this morning. Also just heavy rain and a lot of lightning with that storm. We also saw storms developing south of 94, a hail report there. We can get a little bit closer in near Elbow Lake, and this should ideally tell us how big the hail was. So that was just shy of an inch in diameter. Remember, hail needs to be at least an inch in diameter to be considered severe. So this storm here that produced that hail near Elbow Lake, south of Fergus Falls near 94, was probably just below severe limits. We also saw hail and some storms in South Dakota, and there was a storm warning on this storm down here for very far southern Minnesota and far northern Iowa. This one put down some hail, and there was a warning on that one for a little bit. But ever since, those storms have really weakened, and now we're just seeing some scattered rain on the radar. So for today, temperatures are going to make their way up to near 80 degrees for the metro, and many of you may only see some upper 70s today. Look at this, 77 for Mankato, 78 in Jackson, low 70s to the north, mid 70s in Duluth. Here's here's what to expect. Scattered showers and storms by lunchtime. We're seeing that activity right now, so I think that we could see ongoing activity through the lunch hour, and then we're done by this evening, which of course, as I've been saying all morning, is great timing for all of those outdoor activities that you might have planned tonight. Tomorrow looks like a great day. It'll be warmer, it'll be sunny, and the humidity will be lower. So everybody wins on your Saturday. Sunday, there is a chance for rain in the morning. That chance is looking relatively low at this point. And after we get that morning rain chance out of our way, we should be dry for the rest of the day. Highs will be in the mid-80s. And then for our Monday, we are tracking the chance of showers and storms, likely in the morning, but the timing could be more so in the afternoon. This is something that we are going to fine-tune as we get a little bit closer to the beginning of next week. But of course, we've got to enjoy the weekend first. And once we get these showers out of the way, the rest of the weekend should be pretty well behaved. And I think that this microcast model, this is our high-res model, it's finally kind of catching on to the timing of these showers and storms. It is showing that light rain moving through the metro. It is showing some stronger cells near Mankato toward the lunch hour. This is 12:10. So there is a chance that we see a couple more severe storms later today, but as we push forward into the afternoon, things should get quiet. There could be a second wave of those storms closer to 3 o'clock here in the Twin Cities, pockets of some heavier rainfall, and then it all pushes out by tonight. So that is, of course, ideal for our evening to be a little bit drier. Here's your weekend forecast. If maybe you are headed out of town to cabin country this weekend, you'll have some mid-70s today for Detroit Lakes, Hayward, Brainerd Lakes, upper 70s today, and there will be some scattered rain during the day, but after that, as we head into tonight, looking drier. And then for Sunday, some 70s and 80s. Chance of rain for Hayward, but most looking at dry conditions through the weekend. Beyond the weekend, or I should say beyond today, there are some additional rain chances. So here is Saturday night. Those of you in Bemidji, Grand Rapids, looking at potentially some stormy conditions. We see additional storms developing down toward Laverne closer to the midnight hour. This is Saturday night into Sunday morning. By the time we get to about 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, we could see pockets of rain moving into the Twin Cities, but it moves out pretty quickly. This is 6 a.m. on Monday, and we're already pretty dry in the Twin Cities. So a lot of these storm chances are going to be nocturnal, so they won't really impact us during the day, which is good timing because we get a chance at the beneficial rain and then it doesn't impact our plans during the day. We go through most of Sunday with mainly clear skies, but there are some disturbances developing off to the northwest. So that shows us that, yes, by Monday morning, I'll slow it down here, Monday morning between 5 and 7 a.m., additional storms are developing to our west. And so it could be a similar scenario to what we're seeing this morning, where we see storms developing during the very early hours before the sun even comes up. And then by the time we get to early morning, late morning, early afternoon, we'll have to just watch for those pockets of rain to develop within the metro. So once again, for today, if you are making some plans for the rest of your Friday, there is a low-end chance of severe weather that does include the metro. It is a level 1, or what we call a marginal risk, and this is a 1 out of 5. So severe weather isn't by any means likely, but it is possible, especially if we get some pulsier storms, which we've seen already today. They could become strong quite quickly. This is what the radar might look like at noon today. Stronger storms near Mankato. For the Twin Cities, we could see some stronger storms by 2, 3 o'clock. The activity does look to be concentrated in the metro, but more so down to the south, closer to Mankato and Rochester. And we do have a high level of confidence that all of this activity will push to the east and out of our way by 7 o'clock tonight. Highs today should reach right around 80 degrees for the metro. Other folks can expect some highs in the mid to upper 70s. Overall, looks like a nice Friday evening and an even nicer Saturday. Saturday does look like it will be pretty dry across the board. Saturday night into Sunday, we could see some nocturnal showers and storms developing, but we should be dry by the time the sun comes up on Sunday. And beyond that, a rain chance on Monday morning. Have a wonderful weekend.